Hello everyone, Alex here. Welcome to the pitch of my thesis, Stones of Menace, the portrayal of power in video game architecture and the creation of an accompanying urban 3D diorama. The subject of my thesis is a result of my long-standing interest in the depiction of urban environments and building structures in video games. I believe if such depictions are done well, they can spin fascinating tales about their inhabitants and make games much more immersive. Why is that the case? In reality, cities are dense clusters of human activity and habitation. They are the result of large-scale transformation of natural landscape, sometimes spanning centuries. And their populations live in complex relationships and dependencies of commerce, kinship, culture, etc. So for a good story, we already have a huge pool of characters on stage. The only thing missing is a conflict. And conflict comes in as competing interests, political disagreement, and other intergroup dynamics that are inevitable parts of complex society. They shape the ever-changing social fabric of a city, and importantly, they are rarely symmetric. Some groups tend to be more powerful than others, and because of that, they can realize larger building projects in order to serve their specific goal and to communicate and cement their status. Architecture is, among other things, the imprint of social power structures on the physical world. It tells us a story of the values its creator held and promoted, and also a story of their fears and insecurities. It employs culturally significant symbols to command reverence, and it asserts power directly by shaping the structure of the physical world. Over the next 3 months, I want to examine strategies that are commonly used to communicate and exert power through architecture. I will use a broad range of architectural literature as a foundation and will use examples from the real world and from video games to demonstrate these strategies. As the title Stones of Menace suggests, I believe that video game architecture often employs these strategies in an exaggerated way to become especially hostile and oppressive. This makes sense in the context of a medium that often treats the challenge of navigating dangerous spaces as a central aspect. My current understanding of the topic suggests that there will be sections on proportions, materiality, symbolism, accessibility, security, and circulation of buildings. The treatment of these topics, especially relative to neighboring structures, speaks on the status of their inhabitants and the nature of their relationship to society at large. The analysis will not be limited to visual design strategies, but will also deal with how space itself can be structured to create relationships of power. So there's a natural connection to level design that will be explored. To support my arguments, I will include a discussion of the phenomenon of power from a sociological standpoint. A differentiation between different types of power seems useful for understanding why specific architectural strategies are chosen by given groups in a given situation. As a result, I hope to come up with a catalog of elements that can be used as guideline for developing architectural concepts for games and as a way to look at architecture in general. As a final outlook, I would like to discuss how applicable my findings are for different game genres. Arguably, genres such as stealth games are inherently connected to the subject, as elements like surveillance and security are directly part of their core game loop. However, more insights will follow during the writing process. The theoretical part will make up 70% of this thesis. For the other 30%, my aim is to create an urban scene that reflects my theoretical findings as a 3D diorama. I would like to end up with a small self-contained .exe file in which the user is given limited control to explore the scene. I want to use a small number of strategically placed dynamic elements to increase visual interests. At this point, the visual idea is not developed, as I'm still missing some deeper research on the topic. However, I'm inspired by projects such as these. To make it more interesting, I stylistically want to move away from typical European or North American references. Potential inspiration might come from cities in Central Asia, for example, but we will see. The main skills I want to strengthen with this project are composition and lighting, so I might not author all of the assets I will use. The development of first concepts will start soon then. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave comments on Spaces.